Karla Etienne has been appointed Executive Director of the Canadian Dance Assembly. In this role, Karla leads the CDA into the next phase of its journey, serving hundreds of members across Canada's dance ecosystem. As activist, dancer, and arts administrator, Karla holds a master's degree in environmental science and has worked with several community and environmental organizations. While her dance training began in modern, Karla felt deeply connected with West African dance and movements, and further studied under Zab Malungu at the Nyata Nyata Dance Company in Montreal. Fully bilingual, Karla was recently awarded the 2021 Prix Stellaire, awarded to a person dedicated to the development of the art of dance. BIPOC Executive Search invites you to join us in congratulating Karla and welcomes you to this edition of 5 Questions.
Nice to see you again, Karla, and congratulations on your role as Executive Director at the Canadian Dance Assembly. And thanks for joining us today.
Thank you, Candice. Thank you, Ellen. It's a pleasure and an honor for me to see you again after the next experience we had. So I'm very glad to be here.
Great. So I'm just going to launch into the first question that we have prepared today. So the Canadian Dance Assembly is such an important organization, and we know that they are engaged in a conversation about what it means to decolonize dance across the country. Can you tell us what it has meant to you to be part of this conversation and to bring your equity lens to this role as Executive Director of the CDA?
So of course, Candice and Ellen, you don't start by the easiest question, right? I'm always on top of things. So thank you for that question.
Of course.
It meant a lot, actually, because I've been working in a dance organization as a dancer and a cultural manager before, and we were doing like research, teaching, and creation in contemporary dance based on African tradition for dance and music. So of course, for me, going forward towards another organization, I didn't want to go in an organization where the conversation didn't start it. I needed to know, like, they don't wait for me, the person, African descent, to change things without having thinking of it before. And CDA has been working on that since 2017, or I think 16 even, to start on that conversation. So it was like, okay, I'm going to join my experience. I'm going to join my knowledge to a team and a media who think about it. Of course, decolonization is like a trend word. It's like sometimes it's marketed. So I didn't want to go in an organization that used the term without saying like, oh, we're so good, but we're not ready for change. And when we had that conversation together, it said, no, we're ready for change. We know what it means in theory. We read about it. We did many consultations about it. And now we're really ready to change. So for my perspective, I was like I would say in English, in a field where, plants were starting to grow. So that I was very happy for that. And we think we want to know, like, who's going to be around the table to have that conversation again, which ways of conversation we're going to have, which bodies is going to be around, how we're going to just rethink the way we produce, research, relate to dance altogether. So for that, I'm happy because I think the conversation is open. And I feel that I'm not the only person, as I said before, to be, okay, this is your hat, you'll have to do it. No, we're going to do it as a team, and we're going to look for partners also to work on that question. Very important and very deep question also of decolonization. Yes.
Great. No, thanks for that. That's it's exciting. It's exciting that the conversation has been happening and that you are really leading the conversation for the CDA. I recall when you and I were speaking, you've talked about kind of your career, and you've pivoted the direction of your career from engineering, environmental engineering, to be more specific, to dance and performing arts. Super curious. What inspired you to make that change?
Oh, yes, it was many things at the same time. You know, I was doing kind of advocacy environmental. I was not engineering, and I was doing education also in environmental studies for youth, by youth, and it was very grassroots. And you know, something about environmental that is very fundamental is that it's not nature by itself. This is ecology. Environmental studies is human being relationship with nature. So I had to find a way to feel a connection on spending so much time, you know, like studying, doing all this, and going through dance. And for me, when I thought about dance, I think, well, dance is the same way. Like it's a human being in the space, moving, try to relate with others, try to relate with nature, try to relate with all the surrounding that maybe the dancer doesn't understand, but it tries to relate and communicate something without words, but into that relation. So I was like, oh my God, it's the same thing. It's connected, but it's another way of, of existing or manifest in this world. And also I said, okay, environmental, I'm gonna always be an ecologic person. I'm gonna do all my best, but dancing, it's now. My body is young, my body is fierce, and it's right now. So I needed to be on stage. And you know, like daughter of immigrant parents, you know, your parents doesn't expect you to do art because they don't see a lot of representation, because it's difficult, and they move in another country to give more future to your children. So why are you gonna go like struggle even more that you'll have to struggle? And with with having that possibility of myself, of expressing myself, and knowing that there were not also a lot of people doing African art in Montreal or Quebec, I said, I have a voice, I have to be there. And it was also a part of me wasn't able to just reconnect with my cultural background. That was very, very strong for me. So that's why I pivoted. So there's a link and new openings for me in dance. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. I love that connection to nature and the universe, really. The other question that we have for you, when you think about now the career that you've had in the world of arts, can you tell us how has mentorship helped you and helped the progression of your career?
Mentorship was key, and I will add, if you want, Hélène, if you mind, different experiences also. So mentorship for me was very important because when you live experience and you're learning, it's like sometimes we're so busy and so like, you know, there's a competition, there's a lot of things that you need to know. How do we have that space to do, I'm gonna do it because I'm a dancer, step back, you know, and having some time to reflect and think on your actions and have the confidence that your actions are valuable. And when you have mentorship, it's super important because, and also it's when you meet sometimes with someone that has more experience than you, like it you know, when you feel like you made a mistake or you didn't do the right thing or you didn't speak at the right place at the right moment, someone who has more experience will say, no, 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 it's all good. You're just learning. And there's always other sides, other ways, you know, to continue the work. So having that mirror in front of me and that mirror that we can exchange and have the step back to reflection was very, very important. And also it gives me the confidence of multiplying my experiences and multiplying the context where I could work. multiply the type of person I could work with and talk to. And it didn't have to be all jobs. It could be like a jobs, a committee of reflection, committee of action, meeting on the studios, long-term talks, small-term talks, all this multiplying context and person helped me a lot. And after that, when you have that exchange, it gave me a lot of confidence because people say, no, Karla, you're good at that, like it went well. Or maybe you should work that level, it's okay. Or you thought it was hard. You're right, it's hard. It's not about you, it's just super hard. Or I'm proud, I'm gonna make you meet someone that can help you. So it's like a lot of things. And when we talked about decolonization, for example, mentorship is key of that, because you work in a way that is collective. When you share those experiences and you share those people that you meet, you're not doing yourself only by yourself. You have a family around you, and you can have many mentors. You don't need to have one. You just have a family with you. Yes.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate that comment about the exchange, as well as talking about mentorship in multiple contexts. And also just reminding us that it doesn't have to be just having one mentor. You can choose many. So switching over now, comment pensez-vous que la représentation augmentée des dirigeants BIPOC aura un impact sur l'avenir des arts au Canada?
Alors, merci Candice pour cet effort avec la langue française. C'est très, très beau à entendre. Que tu prends le temps de prononcer, c'est magnifique, merci. C'est très important, la question de la représentation, mais ce n'est pas la seule question. Déjà, on essaie déjà que voir des personnes différentes qui prennent la parole et qui agissent, c'est une motivation, une nouvelle possibilité concrète pour ceux qui aspirent à faire quelque chose, à contribuer de façon valable et grande, ou à leur propre désir, qui désirent contribuer à la société. Et de savoir que c'est possible, voir ces personnes-là, c'est vraiment inspirant. Ça, tu vois, je parle en français et je cherche mes mots parce que je parle trop en anglais, mais je trouve que c'est vraiment ouvrir les possibilités. Après, la question de la représentation, c'est une chose parce qu'on voit, les gens, c'est notre premier sens, on voit le corps. Ce corps dans l'espace, dans ton monde professionnel, c'est important. Et après, la question de la représentation, c'est comment ces personnes-là seront accompagnées, comment elles auront une équipe, comment elles auront les moyens d'effectivement faire les changements qui s'imposent, ou simplement juste complètement se réaliser, et qu'elles ne sont pas mises là juste pour leur image, pour leur visage, pour ce qu'on voit, mais qu'elles seront mises là pour ce qu'elles font et pour leur capacité à contribuer à leur monde professionnel. Et donc, c'est deux aspects. Et je pense que dans le monde des arts, ça va vraiment changer les choses. Je me souviens, Candice, d'avoir été dans des lieux de rassemblement de 600 personnes dans les arts. Nous étions 2 personnes afrodescendantes. Tu cherches l'autre personne comme ça, là, tu mets ta main là. Comme ça, tu commences à chercher parce que tu ne vois pas l'autre personne. Et ce sens de communauté dont je parlais aussi, quand il y a plusieurs personnes avec qui tu peux échanger et échanger les manières de faire et échanger les conversations, les thèmes des conversations, ça va, j'espère en tout cas, modifier le paysage.
Merci beaucoup, Karla. C'est très, très important. Et des derniers mots d'inspiration pour toutes les personnes intéressées à occuper un rôle de leadership, un rôle où sa voix peut contribuer à faire une différence.
Merci pour cette question. Je voulais faire vraiment référence à un professeur que j'ai rencontré à l'université au HEC, J'ai oublié son nom de famille, je m'en excuse, mais elle s'appelle Pénélope. Et cette personne enseignait le cours direction de personnes. Et comme je pensais au début, je me dis, bon, c'est un cours de leader très vertical, tu sais, celui qui va dicter à tout le monde comment faire. Et le cours n'était pas du tout à propos de ça. Le cours était à propos de mieux se connaître et d'être un leader comme on est et de s'entourer des bonnes personnes pour compléter en fait les aspects de notre personnalité. Et elle m'a tellement donné confiance parce que ce qui est ressorti en moi, c'est que j'étais rassembleuse, que j'aimais donner du sens aux choses. Les choses que j'avais travaillées, c'était peut-être l'assertivité. Mais tout ça, c'est valide en fait. Tout est bon. Tout est bon. Et savoir que tout est bon et que notre voix est valide et de ne pas attendre nécessairement la validation des autres peut mener toute personne qui aspire à des postes plus hauts ou qui aspire même pas à un poste qui est nécessairement plus haut, mais qui aspire à créer quelque chose, qui aspire à apporter quelque chose dans la société, quelque chose qui a peut-être jamais été fait ou quelque chose qui doit se faire autrement. Et il y a toutes sortes de manières d'être leader. C'est pas nécessairement dans une question de classe sociale, de classe professorale. C'est pas ça. C'est si vous avez une idée, une impulsion, des nouvelles manières de faire, juste comme croyez en vous parce qu'il y a de la place pour tout le monde en fait. Et apprenez à vous connaître et entourez-vous des bonnes personnes et soyez certain que si vous êtes ouvert et que vous avez de l'amour dans ce que vous faites, que vous aimez ce que vous faites, ça va s'éclore. Ça sera une constellation autour de vous. Et si vous arrivez à créer cette constellation autour de vous, vous allez amener des belles choses dans la société. Voilà.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci. Merci, Karla.
Non, merci à vous de me recevoir aujourd'hui. Ça me fait vraiment extrêmement plaisir. Cette journée, comme on dit, c'est un anglicisme, this journey. Ben, cette aventure a commencé avec vous, avec cet appel d'Hélène. Je vois ton profil, c'est vraiment intéressant. Est-ce que tu veux converser avec nous? Est-ce que tu serais intéressé à rencontrer des personnes dans un autre contexte? Et voilà, c'est comme ça que ça a commencé. Donc, c'est moi qui vous remercie vraiment de tout cœur.
We're so pleased to have gone through this journey with you, Karla. You're a phenomenal leader, and the arts community is definitely going to be inspired by your leadership.
Merci.